It's foot shaving day. Man, have you ever had just an evening where like every single thing went wrong or not as expected and you don't even know what to feel about it? That is what happened for this foot shave. It's been about 6 weeks since I did the rasping last on my feet, the giant cheese grater foot file, which I have hundreds of comments on that video saying like, not a cheese grater, but it's not actually a cheese grater. This is a foot rasp called a cheese grater foot rasp because of the way that the openings are for the grater. They look like a cheese grater, right? It looks the same. Anyway, man, a lot of things went wrong here. So I came in dry on my feet. It worked so successfully last time that I thought that this time it was going to be just as successful. But I was actually really struggling to get the skin off of anywhere that wasn't the edges. So like the edge of the foot where it's curved, I was able to take it off pretty easily. And I mean, you can see that it is coming off here. But like once I took off the top layer or so on the flat parts, like this, I just wasn't even able to get anything else off at all. So I was getting really frustrated by that. It was also kind of jumping around a little bit every now and then. But anyway, I was able to get the edges. And with this new fresh blade, I thought that it was going to go like super quick and easy, but I was actually struggling quite a bit. I was like having to jump around to different sections of my foot to see which parts were actually going to grate off and which weren't. And then whenever I'd come into the middle part here and try to get like some of the ball of my foot or the middle section, look at, there's like nothing grating off. So ultimately I gave up and I was like, well, whatever, I still have the shaver and like maybe there's something else I can do. So let me just go down to the heel of my foot and see if I can get that skin off. And yet again, I was able to grate off the skin around the edge of my heel. But as I moved forward and tried to do the middle of my heel, it was like not taking off anything at all. And I think that's where I mostly struggled, is that like once it got to the middle of my heel, I was using 2 hands. I was using all my strength and the blade was wanting to pop out of the handle and I was not able to get it to shave off almost anything. And that was just absolutely frustrating. So let's just take a moment here to watch me continue to grate the sides of my heel because that was the part that was working. This tool works really amazingly when it works, but I couldn't believe how much of a struggle I ended up having with it in the middle of my foot. So what I ultimately decided to do as this continued along and I wasn't able to get like anything in the middle, we're really close to getting to that part where that was happening, is I decided, oh, maybe I could use some Callus softener and soften it and then it would come off because people are always telling me you should soften it first. And I know that it's going to work better dry. I just know it from like a lifetime of experience. But, you know, once I wasn't able to like get anything off, in the middle, I finally was like, well, maybe softening it would do the job. And so I might as well try. See here, I'm able to get a little bit off because it's still on the edge. But as I come into the middle, it's just going to like stop coming off. And I'm so frustrated. I'm like moving up along the sides where I haven't done over here. Like, well, maybe if all the sides are done, I'll be able to move the grater into the middle and get a bunch off. But here we go, sped up. I'm trying over and over and over and over to get these middle sections. And it's like, it's so slow going. Like, see, it is coming up, but like, not really. Here's where I gave up and was like, well, maybe the FootLogic's foot softener would work. So I had to spray that on my foot, which I did over the sink because I don't like getting the spray on the counter because then when the callus touches it on the counter, it turns to mush on the counter. So that helped. Okay, that helped a little bit, but still not taking off as thick a layers as it usually would. And I'm like, are these dull? Is there a problem here? It's a brand new blade. This shouldn't be a problem. And I finally gave up and just said, all right, I'm just going to do my big toe and I'm going to have to use a different tool for like the majority of the middle of my foot, both the ball of my foot and the heel of my foot. I don't know what happened. So anyhow, did wonders on my toe though. You can see how quickly it just took all that skin off. And I was able to easily do all the edges of my feet, which felt great. But it wasn't nearly thin enough on the ball of my foot or in the middle of the heel of my foot. So I feel like I've been rambling and nothing I'm saying here makes sense, but I was so frustrated. I was like hot in my house, even with the air conditioning, because it was such a hot day. My leg was hurting from standing on one leg. My camera ran out of memory in the middle of filming, and I had to go download the video or upload the videos to my computer, and then the rasp wasn't really working, and then using the Callus softener wasn't really working. And so finally, of course, I just took out this blade and I'm like gonna cut it all off, and that's gonna be the next video.